Today I'm going to be reviewing the Citizen Nighthawk watch. As you can see, it comes in this little Citizen case here. This was purchased about a month ago online, so this is the most up-to-date model. So if you haven't heard of the Citizen Nighthawk watch, you can see that it's an aviation style watch with a really intricate and interesting design. This isn't your classic pilot's watch, but an actual aviation style, which is why we've got so much details, such as the slide rule and the 24-hour clock and that sort of thing, but we'll cover that in a little bit more detail later. You'll notice that this is the leather strap design. There also is a metal bracelet option, but I thought that the leather band looked quite nice with the black base, so that was my choice. Citizen does tend to have some pretty nice bands as well as far as the metal bands, so I think you probably couldn't go wrong with either one. Now you'll notice that the overall fit and finish on this watch is quite nice. It's very excellent, which I'm starting to expect from Citizen. You know, they are an affordable and cheap watch provider, but they don't feel like it. It's got a nice weight to it. All the manufacturing and the machining looks really nice, and even the engraving on the case back looks really nice as well. The feedback in the two crowns is excellent, which is usually a nice indication of fit and finish and how well something is manufactured. So to take a better look at the face, let's see how close I can get without it losing focus. There's a lot of detail going on here. You'll notice that there's a lot of lines and markers going all the way around, and that's because this watch comes with a slide rule. If you see here at the 8 o'clock position, there is a crown that allows you to adjust and turn the outer rim here, which is a slide rule. And even that turns really nicely, really smoothly. I've got a friend who is a pilot, and she said that the conventional use of this is you can convert pounds into liters in terms of fuel and jet fuel and that sort of thing. It looks like you can calculate distances and that sort of thing as well. But even if you're not doing anything like that, you're not flying and fueling your own planes, there is ways that you can do basic multiplication and converting of different measurements and division. There's another YouTube video out there that you might want to take a look at if you want to learn how to use the slide rule. I just think it looks cool and it's kind of fun to play with. Some of the other details, it does have raised hour indicators with the loom on it, which looks really nice. The minute and hour hands themselves have a lot of detail to them. They've kind of got a nice spear look to them, but the actual edges of them are a little bit raised, which is a nice touch, making it look really intricate. And you'll notice that kind of on the inside here, we have a 24-hour clock, and the way that works is there's actually a 24-hour indicator that looks like this little airplane here. You'll see that this one is white, so it's kind of pointing to the about this inner ring here, this inner white ring. So it's saying that it's 7 o'clock. Now if you look at this red little airplane on the other side, when this rotates another 12 hours, it points to the outer ring, which indicates the PM. So white is AM and red is PM. It's really kind of a really cool feature. The hands themselves and the airplane hand looks really cool. It works really well. I was in Europe and wore this watch the entire time and was able to have an accurate gauge of what time it was back at home anytime I needed to send an email or make a call. And we've got the date indicator over here. It's a pretty standard date indicator, but it looks nice. It is a mineral crystal. This isn't sapphire, which is probably what you'd expect for the price. They're somewhere between $180 and $250, so you're probably not going to get a sapphire crystal. But some of the other features, beyond the 24-hour timer, is it is actually resistant to 200 meters in terms of water, which I thought was pretty impressive for an aviation watch. It does have a screw-down crown, which probably helps the water resistance. Now what's interesting is the way that you set the 24-hour clock. You can basically keep track of 2 time zones. If you pull out the crown just once, and turn it, you'll notice that the hour hand moves, but the minute hand doesn't. And so essentially what ends up happening is our 24-hour indicator down there stays the same. So that keeps track of your original time, and you can set it to your new time, however many hours off that is, which I think is really cool. So basically you can set that hour hand independently and say, okay, it's 4 o'clock where I'm currently at, but you can look at the 24-hour time and see that you're however many hours back at home. The movement is an eco-drive movement, so it's powered by light, which is great. It's really hard to have this run out of power, so it's a good everyday watch. You never have to worry about setting it like some automatics. If you don't have a good winder, I've left this in a dark closet for weeks and pulled it out, and it was still running perfectly fine. And what ends up happening is, when it gets low on power, the second hand will skip every 3 seconds or something like that, rather than every 1, and it wasn't doing that. So it definitely lasts a long time. The crown feels really good to move. Whoops. Looks well manufactured. And there's some little engraving in there, which looks really nice. The leather strap feels pretty good. It's not the highest quality strap that I've come across. It could be a little thicker. I tend to like really thick straps. But it feels nice. It's comfortable. It's nice quality. It does have a quick release clasp, which is really nice, high quality clasp with the Citizen logo engraved on it. So there's nothing really to be desired about the clasp. Personally, I would just like a little bit of a thicker band. And the cost, like I said, these are about $250 to $180. I think the leather version is a little bit cheaper, which is nice. Not the reason that I got it. I just like that a little better. The metal one's a little bit more expensive. You might be able to find them on Deal of the Day sites, but I really haven't. But I think it's well worth it. It's a really strong, powerful watch with a really beautiful design. Everything about it looks really nice. The lume is really nice as well. It's not quite to the level of some Seikos, but it's got a really beautiful blue hue to it, and it doesn't take too much light to get that going. So really great everyday watch. Looks really pretty. Nothing about it to be desired. It's actually one of my favorites.